Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, welcome back. Thank you, Mr. Producer. If you guys are a fan of this show, you know who the nice young lady sitting next to me is. It is Ina Speaks Simply Mlekush, and she is a fan favorite, quickly become a fan favorite. Ina, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much. We're just going to jump right into today's show. And this is, this is for singles and married people, okay? And love equals pain or love equals wisdom. And this is very important because when love equals pain, then we tend to close down. So let me talk about falling in love.
Okay.
And when we talk about falling, okay, I don't care what you're doing, falling off a chair, falling off a curb. You know, I've fallen halfway down a mountain, skiing. Falling is not a fun thing to do. So the word falling denotes in and of itself pain, discomfort, hurt. So where we came up with this falling in love is probably because we create this over and over. So for instance, you have multiple relationships and you wonder, why am I experiencing the same thing as I did like with my starter wife or my starter husband?
Starter.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the learning curve one. And yet one of the cute stories, I don't know how cute it is, but a woman will make love to her favorite kind of guy. And I'm from Arizona, so we'll just say the cowboy type, He may be a businessman, he may be very successful, but this particular type happens to be the cowboy type, a musician, because she loves music, so it's a musician. But the key is when they made love, she had an orgasm during intercourse, which is like something doesn't happen often for many women. So now she has the cowboy, she has the music, she has the orgasm. And the only trouble is she doesn't realize it at first, but he also is an alcoholic, like her starter husband. And once they start getting into the relationship, he goes violent and he beats her. And it's like she goes to a therapist, she talks to her friends, and they're saying, well, why are you staying? And it's like, well, I thought the third try, I thought the fourth try would be different. So this woman, in this situation, is not learning her lessons. Now, if it's a man, what happens is he finds this really beautiful, sweet, caring woman, and he can do nothing wrong. They make love, and she is off the charts. What a good lover he is. And they fall in love and get married, and she has her babies, and something clicks off. 1 out of every 3 women have some kind of sexual abuse. So after the babies are born, that sexual memory, sexual abuse, all of a sudden she does not want sex where she loved it before. She said he was a wonderful lover. Now she's saying, you are a sex addict. How come you want sex again? He says, well, it has been a couple of weeks, honey. Well, no, it isn't. We just made love the other day. No, I gave you a hug. No, we cuddled in bed.
Right.
We were naked, but there was no sex. So it gets twisted.
I've heard this before. I've heard things like this happen before. Definitely. Friends of mine. Yeah. It's like all of a sudden it just stops. That's what they say.
And so the man is saying, here, I thought I picked a totally different woman. She was taller, she was slender, she was, this or that. He was this or, but the theme, the thread is the same because they haven't learned the lesson with that starter wife or husband. So love equals sex, because sex is a big part of this, equals love equals pain. And that is why there's so many divorces, because they have not been taught that a different story. And the different story is that it's a story of power equals love equals wisdom. So when we fall in love, remember, falling it denotes we're uncomfortable, we're unhappy, we're in pain.
Right.
When we fall in love, the decisions we normally make, which are based in, I need to get a good night's rest, I have an early appointment tomorrow, heck with that, I'm staying up late, and I'm spending the night at your house, and then I'll dash home, pick up my briefcase, whatever the story is. So when we fall in love, we're no longer rational, we're no longer we eat the kind of food that our partner likes. So boy, let me tell you, my starter husband loved those really fried pork chops, the really thin ones.
Okay.
Fried potatoes, did not like vegetables. I love
That's
vegetables.
not you. That's not you.
That's not me. But I didn't know that because I went to the movies he liked. So women, we go to the movies that are blood and horror and the war movies. Men, you know what you do? You go to the chick movies. You go to the chick movies. Why? Because she wants to see it. And if she's happy, if mama's happy, papa's happy,
Yeah.
So, the country western genre really portrays this very, very good,
Yeah.
And so when we have fallen in love, we actually are giving our power away. We're twisting ourselves to be something that we're not, but it's something we think the other person wants. And then we get angry and resentful at the person because we're doing all this for them until finally they said, I never asked you to do this. And without therapy, without counseling, without God, divorce. So we want to make love what it truly is. I'm going to say in God's eyes, what it truly is. And it's an act of power. And it's the most powerful energy there is on the planet.
What do you mean by that, Ian?
Well, power, if we talk about power as in the sense of the ascended consciousness of Christ or Buddha or God, Yahweh, again, it doesn't matter what you call it.
Right.
But there's a power that we can heal ourselves, that we can heal others, that no matter what is going on in the planet around us, no matter if you're blue or red, that we can use our power to bring a loving presence around us, and we can live in that presence, and we can be aware. Don't put our heads in the sand. We can be aware. So if we're in a relationship and we're falling out of love, or we're blinded by love, that's not the power of love. That is the dysfunction. That's the man-made kind of love. That's not that greater power that I'm talking about, where power, wisdom equals power. It is power that allows us to see accurately, clearly, prophetically our partner, and we know it in our heart when they're lying or maybe having an affair or something's wrong. You can feel it, and you speak about it before there's a disaster. So let's just a little bit about wisdom is knowing when power actually is you feel the passion. Power has tremendous passion to it. So when you feel that heart connection with somebody, I would invite it to start with a friendship. You're getting to know somebody. Now, there might be a chemistry with that person very quickly, and that's a warning. It's a warning. Passion, it's lust. It's all here. I'm feeling the sexual chemistry. How do you turn that into something positive and you don't burn yourself in the flames? So first of all, when you feel that chemistry, that's a red alert, not code orange, code red, that my fire is wanting to meet with this man's fire, and we want to bring our fire together. And when doing that, if we think of it properly, it's the fire of spirit awakening us into a higher level of consciousness. So lust, when it is directed with consciousness, is letting you know that you and that your partner are seeking, because it's through passion, through lovemaking, through this spiritual sexuality, through the intensity that gateways open. You might go into an altered state. You might see past lives. You might you feel God in the room with you. Magic happens when we are in that union of, I'm going to say, great spirit, making love to great spirit, coming together, the feminine and the masculine, grandfather, son, grandmother, earth. When it comes, so it comes together, it's the Big Bang Theory. Okay, that's what this one is, the Big Bang Theory.
Got
And
it.
so that happens with us. When we realize the passion is there, the lust is there, the chemistry is there, all that's telling you is take a breath, recognize it, slow down a little bit, get to know the person. Do they have the same values, same political values, same spiritual values? You know, is one person hates guns and the other person likes to go out on the range shooting? I mean, there's some basics. Do you leave the toothpaste open and squirting out on the bathroom sink, or do you close it and put it away? Do you leave dishes in the sink, or do you wash the dishes? I mean, these are basics that people never talk about.
Right.
They don't talk about it. And these little things can become a real irritant after a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to do to make love as an act of power, we want to first realize, as I said, that it's this attraction, and we want to make agreements. We want to get to know each other. We want to make sure we're on the same page in many, many different ways. And we're not, you know, occasionally we may lose ourselves in the other person. That's called unconditional loving. Occasionally we may, like I love to go to the Renaissance Fair, get fully dressed. And my husband was gung-ho, all for it. He bought the most amazing thousands of dollars, you know, handmade boots and everything to be this top-notch pirate, you know, and I was the high queen wench, and he enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it every year. There came a year where he said, honey, I know you love to go, but I am so done. I do not want to go. And I was like, oh, it means I'm not going. And then I went, no, it doesn't. It means I'm going to go with my friends. And you don't have to go.
Right.
So some of the times we do things. And then about 2 years later, he said, you know, I'd like to go with you. And I went, great. So sometimes my husband wants to make love and I'm not really in the mood. Hello, ladies, we're not in the mood. It's like, I don't know if I'm in the mood or not. I'm going for my head. He hasn't touched me. He hasn't held me. And I said, well, why don't you give me a hug? Why don't we snuggle? Let's see. And I might not feel like making love, and I still might choose to make love. Why? Because I am providing him, because I love him. It's okay for us to be providers to each other. You don't have to go out and pay for it. Pay me, you know? Pay me. You can leave a nice $100 tip on the table. You know? So the idea is, at times unconditional love is very good, and we can give to each other as an act of power, not because we've gotten lost and we're eating what they want to eat, seeing the movies they want to see, doing what they want to do. And then we wake up one day and we can't do it anymore. And they go, what's wrong? What did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. You just never saw the real me.
Right.
So first and foremost, be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Be yourself. Let your partner, let this person know who you are, so that they can decide truly. You know, maybe you just want a one-night stand with this person. Maybe you want a friends with benefits for a short while. But if it's looking like this is really speaking to your heart, well, you want to make love an absolute act of power. And so it's simply what you do is, in choosing to love, the word is choosing.
Choose.
I'm choosing to love. And in choosing to love, I am making it an act of power. And wisdom is showing me the difference between when I give my power away or when I step in my power with my with my partner. So it's just a simple word that we're shifting out. Love needs to be a choice, and we need to choose to love every day. It's a choice. We might, I love you, but I don't like you right now. It could be, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. It needs to be a choice to love and be in love, and to bring a spiritual quality into the relationship, which will really help heal you and navigate you when your partner has broken your heart, or when you just don't know if you can stay living with each other anymore. So you need to not feed the shadow, not feed the dark, not feed the doubt. Be aware, be truthful. Don't feed it. Don't feed the past wounding, the past hurts. You know, it's called forgive yourself, forgive the other, and choose to make love an act of power and understand the difference between falling, giving your power away. And that takes wisdom to do that.
Mm.
That's why we have starter wives, starter husbands, starter boyfriends, starter girlfriends, because we're going to school. It's the school of relationships.
I have a question for you. Like when you were talking about, say, this is going back to, you referred to it right before we were talking about lust, and it was where there's two people, and you know that connection is there, that chemistry, whatever you want to call it, it's there. And I think it was pretty awesome that you said during that time, even though you know you got that going on, you got to find out who that person really is, because you can get caught up in doing the things, eating the food that they like, and stuff like that. So are you saying when you feel that with somebody, you should take a time out and wait a little bit? Or what do you think about that?
Well, it usually happens on the first date. So, you know, and you know it and you feel it. And, you know, you might even have a really good make out session. You know, remember when we used to make out when we were younger and the energy popped because we never did it. You know? So usually, you know, there's something that is letting you know that you even want to go on that first date. You want to have that coffee. You want to go for a walk. You want to spend time with this person. And that energy is so powerful. It's palatable. You can feel it. And that's a great time to talk about it, is saying, I am feeling such an attraction to you.
Yeah.
And it is a sexual attraction. It's a chemistry. And I want to get to know who you are. I want to know how you feel, how you think. I want to know, you know, can I say this?
You can say whatever you want.
Okay, if I'm with a man, I want to know, well, how sensitive are your jewels? I'll say it
Okay.
that way.
Yeah, that's
How
fine.
sensitive
Yeah.
are your jewels? You know, because I really enjoy touching and licking, and and I'm not trying to turn you on. It will turn you on, because this kind of honest talk very seldom happens.
Mhm.
But I want you to ask, well, I know some women's nipples are very sensitive and others are not. And if I'm going to make love to you, because this energy in me wants to make love to you like now, right here on the park bench, but I want to get to know you. I'm looking for a friend. I'm looking for a lover. I'm looking for a potential life partner. And so I'm honoring this tremendous desire. And I don't want to get trapped that it's just a lust that we're going for. I want to take that deeper. I want to know more, unless you don't. And if you don't, and you're just looking for, a friend with benefits, and that's what you have to talk about.
Right. That's so great. I love how you bring honesty into everything. And who wouldn't be respected by that conversation?
Well, I would hope so. I would hope so. And especially because we're really testing the water with each other. So at the end of that really deep conversation, men, I'm telling you, maybe before you even get all the way home, you need to text her. Because that's our communication now. You need to text her and say, I am so delighted to have met you. Our conversation today was amazing. Can we get together in another couple of days? Because you want to. You're not just saying it, or can we get together tomorrow? She might text back and say, when you send us, and we women need this, when you send us that little note, that little thank you, that just was not a brownie point. That was like the whole brownie cake.
Really? It's a huge thing, huh?
It's huge. And then the next time I'm looking like, am I getting a response? And then I'll send you and I'll say, a day later, that was so great that you texted me and let me know you enjoyed it. I just want to let you know, as though I'm busy all day today, my schedule is off the charts. I'm just letting you know. That is the communication that says, wow, this is a dialogue. Remember, it's
Yeah.
not a monologue.
Right.
This is where we're interested. We want to get to know each other.
Yeah. And there was always that debate, whether do you call or text the first day, yeah, but those are games, aren't they? Like, if I wait a couple, they're games, and it's not very honest, right?
If you want to call, if that's what the nudge of God is, to call to hear her voice again or hear his voice again, then you call and you tell them, I needed to hear your voice again. I know I could have texted you and I needed to hear your voice. If you know their schedule's really busy and sending a text, you see, we don't live connected to a higher source. We don't live connected to that. I mean, for some people, you could say it's the Holy Spirit that has taken residence inside of you. For others, they could say it's Mother, Father, Nature that I'm connecting to. We don't live with listening to that spiritual expression of us in living in this physical temple to tell us if it's a call or if it's a text.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of the game and get into life, get
Yeah.
into living and the beauty. And it's so easy, even during this 2 years of pandemic and totally opposite ends of with people you love, and you're at opposite ends of how there still can be being guided by the God presence inside you, not out here. It's inside. You don't have to beg. You just have to say, hey, what's the right thing to do right now?
Yeah. You got something very special that's coming up here. I believe it's in March. Can you tell everybody about that?
Yes. So I am one of the senior teachers of Shulakwe Kwadoshka, spiritual sexuality. Comes out
1 out of 14.
Yes, comes out of the ancient Mayan teaching. So it's very ancient knowledge passed down in an oral tradition. We've been given permission to teach this from our elders. And so level 1 is happening, and you can come as a single or a couple. Level 1 is happening in March, and I have the dates here, March 3rd through the 6th. And then there's a few days off because you're in Arizona, so you can go to Sedona. You can check out the beauty of our state. And March 10th through the 13th is level 2. And we have people fly in from around the world, and we give you a list of hotels, and we give you we give you 10 pages of here's how to prepare, here's the hotels in the area. So you can reach out to me at talk2ina.com. So Ina at talk2ina.com, 623-465-9151. You can go to my website, spiritualsexuality.com. Now I know that's a lot of letters to type, spiritual sexuality. You could shortcut talk2ina.com. Okay, talk to me. And I can give you information, and I'll speak to you personally. We'll do a Zoom, so we can see each other and we'll talk to make sure the workshop is correct for you and you are correct for the workshop.
Perfect. And I wanted to, in the last couple of minutes that we have here, I wanted to give you the opportunity to you usually do, but if I ask you to speak from the heart, what would you tell us and leave us with?
Okay, give me a moment. The greatest thing anyone can do is establish a relationship with a higher power. It doesn't matter what that higher power is, and you'll know you've established it because when I said, let me pray, let me connect, I immediately felt tears in me. I immediately felt a shift in me. And it's I can't tell you how important it is and where we're going and moving into the golden age and moving forward. But right now, it's still, we're in the dark ages. And so, you know what I mean by that, it's dark. So in relationship, in family, first and foremost is always a relationship with a higher power, and listen actively. And it's so easy It's not hard. You don't have to go anyplace. You could be sitting in your office talking and you just say a little prayer, which I do all the time when I'm with my clients. I ask, what do they need to hear? What needs to be spoken through me for them?
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Do we have time to take any calls?
Mr. Producer, do we have time? Can we do one? We can? Okay, great. Yeah, let's we'll do one instant feedback. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Producer's got it.
So we have Michelle in Sacramento wants to know, does true love really exist? How do we know it if we found it? And does it take time?
Well, I would suggest that you go to Shula. I think she's talking about the Shula Kwadoshka spiritual sexuality workshops. I'm not sure if you're talking about, does God really exist? And
I think she said, does true love exist? I think, is that what she said?
True love. It starts with loving yourself, and it starts with establishing a relationship with the higher power. Because when you can feel God's love, you know that love is the community, is what this whole planet is about. So yes, absolutely. True love does not mean you're going to stay with that beloved for the rest of your life. True love may have a time frame of experiencing it because there's something else that you need to experience. So don't equate true love as I'm going to find one person and it's going to be that way the rest of my life. Does true love exist? Yes. And I would say establish it first with God, Great Spirit.
Awesome. Guys, for my friend Ina, speaks simply. Another great time spent. Thank you so much. Let me give you the last word here. Anything that you want to leave us with. Another great show and great information. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Casey. It's when I get done with the shows, I am so moved. I am every time I am thanking God for the opportunity to share this knowledge and this wisdom, to share this time with you. I like the male-female reflection. Today, I kind of ran with it. And we talked about that before we started. The male perspective, we have to honor the masculine on this planet. No more castrating the masculine. We have to honor the masculine. We have to honor the feminine in ourselves, because we have male and female, and in each other. So blessings to all. And may today be a beautiful, blessed day for you. May you connect to spirit.
Thank you so much. I always love your show. You know that. So guys, we'll be right back. What a great guest. She's awesome. Thank you. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.